Damn, son, where'd you find this?
VD.
Hold on, B. We gonna get this work.
Shalom. I want to start off by giving all glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and salutations to the hopeful elect who are continuing to fight and teach this thing of ours in truth and sincerity. I'm the brother Manatazak with GMS Ancient of Days in Los Angeles, currently teaching with the Akim in Sherman Oaks. And today, through the Spirit, I want to get into a lesson that's titled War with Amalek, from generation to generation. Okay, now what inspired this lesson through the Spirit is the continued attacks against Israel from Iran, okay, which is Bible prophecy. Okay, now we know, pursuant to prophecy that is written in the scriptures, that once the true children of Israel return to that land, there would be no more war. So the fact that the Iron Dome in Israel has failed, the fact that they've been bombarded with rockets and drones and cluster bombs, okay? The fact that Tel Aviv, Pink City, Ashdod in the scriptures currently looks like Gaza, a wasteland, is a clear indicator that the true children of Israel are not yet in the land, which is what we have been saying here at Great Millstone, okay, since we first started prophesying. Okay, now the true children of Israel, pursuant to the prophecies and pursuant to the scriptures, are you so-called Negroes, so-called Hispanics, and so-called Native Americans. Okay, and that's not to exclude the speckled bird that's mingled amongst the other nations. Okay, but the point is, the true children of Israel are not in the land. Okay, now I would have added in the post-production before this lesson videos of Israel's getting bombed, but I didn't want to take the chance of YouTube, flagging this channel and giving it a strike, because a lot of those videos you could see on, different alternative medias like Instagram and TikTok. But YouTube, especially when it comes to Hebrew Israelite videos, is very strict when it comes to speaking about the small hats, especially when it shows, acts of war that are currently going on. Okay, but a lot of people, most of you anyway, should have seen the videos, should have heard about the war, because it's currently ongoing as we speak. But what I want to do through the Spirit is go through the scriptures and show you, okay, why the Lord has this perpetual hatred against Amalek, who is the head tribe of Esau, Edom, who is the so-called white man. And Lord willing, this lesson gives context to what's going on in the land today, pursuant to prophecy, but also you'll have understanding of why the Lord feels the way he feels about this particular nation of people. So without further ado, we're going to begin in the book of Exodus, chapter 17, verse 8. Exodus 17, verse 8. Okay, the headline reads, Amalek is conquered. Okay, it says, Then came Amalek and fought with Israel and Rephidim. And Moses said unto Joshua, Choose us out men and go out, fight with Amalek. Tomorrow I will stand on top of the hill with the rod of the Most High in my hand. Okay, and it continues on. So Joshua did as Moses said to him and fought with Amalek. And Moses, Aaron, and Hur went up on the top of the hill. And it came to pass when Moses held up his hand that Israel prevailed. And when he let down his hand, Amalek prevailed. But Moses' hands were heavy, and they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat thereon. And Aaron and Hur stayed up his hands, the one on the other side and the other on the other side. And his hands were steady until the going down of the sun. So what this is basically saying is Moses was going to hold up the rod of the Most High in his hand, and as long as he held it up, Israel will prevail over Amalek. Okay, but just like you hold something over your head for a certain amount of time, your arms are going to get heavy. So his arms were getting heavy and they started to slack. So Aaron and Hur got on either side of him to keep his arms held upright, okay, so that he could fulfill the promise of them prevailing over Amalek, okay. And this happened, for the entire day. Okay, continuing on in verse 13, it says, "And Joshua discomforted Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword. And the Lord Yahweh Shemashai said unto Moses, Write this for a memorial in a book, and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua, for I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. And Moses built an altar and called the name of it Yahweh Nisai. Okay, for he said, because the Lord Yahweh Shemashai has sworn that the Lord Yahweh Shemashai will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. Now, the reason I brought this account out is to show that Amalek basically represents a perpetual enemy of Israel. Okay, the Lord himself said he's going to have war with Amalek from generation to generation. Okay, so that means something that's going to happen from progeny to progeny. Okay, what I mean is every generation, as long as Amalek is still here, the Lord is going to have war with him. The Lord is going to keep that hatred towards him. Okay, and we know pursuant to end time prophecy, eschatology, Esau Edom is going to be the last heathen nation ruling before the second coming of Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Christ. Okay, so Amalek is a descendant of Esau Edom. So that lets you know that Esau Edom must be here in these last days, because Yahweh Shai has not yet returned, because he's returning to a nation ruled by Esau Edom. So that means that even to this day, the Lord has those same thoughts, those same feelings towards this nation of people. Okay. Now, the key point emphasized, okay, from reading this account in Exodus, is that Amalek attacked Israel when they were weak, and this was after we had left Egypt. Okay. Let's get a precept in Deuteronomy 25. Deuteronomy 25 and 17. This is Deuteronomy 25, verse 17, and it reads, Remember what Amalek did unto thee by the way, when ye were come forth out of Egypt, how he met thee by the way, and smote the hindmost of thee, even all that were feeble behind thee, when thou wast faint and weary, and he feared not the Most High. It says, Therefore it shall be, when the Lord Yahweh Shemashai thy power hath given thee rest from all thy enemies round about in the land which the Lord Yahweh Shemashai thy power giveth thee for an inheritance to possess it, that thou shalt blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. Thou shalt not forget it. Now, the reason I brought this out is this is a direct precept to what we read in Exodus. Amalek attacked the weak, elderly, and the stragglers. Okay? And when you read this account, this is a clear act of cowardice and hatred towards the Israelites. Okay? And it was after this particular act, okay, that the Lord Yahweh Shemashai declared a permanent judgment against Amalek. Okay? They are the chief adversary of Israel all throughout history, even to this day. Okay? And the Lord declared a perpetual war against them. Okay, as we read in Exodus. I'll read it again. Exodus chapter 17, verse 16. For he said, because the Lord Yahweh Shemashai hath sworn that the Lord Yahweh Shemashai will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. Okay, and this particular verse is what inspired the lesson, alongside the current continual attacks that are happening to Israel as we speak. Okay. But this conflict with Amalek that we're reading is not a single ancient war. Okay, it continues across generations and empires. Okay, Amalek represents a line of people who remain enemies of Israel until Judgment Day. Amalek is the head tribe of Esau Edom. Okay, and this is proving that the nation of Edom must still be here as a nation, because the scriptures say, particularly in the Apocrypha, that Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. That word world is eon, which means an age of rulership. And their age of rulership is almost over. They are the last heathen that are destined to rule, okay, before the Israelites finally take over in righteousness. So these are some exciting times we're living in. These are prophetic times we're living in. Okay. Let's get the book of 1 Samuel, going into a little history of the Lord's commandment to destroy Amalek, further proving that the Lord does not love everyone under the sun, particularly Esau Edom. We just read that he's going to have war with Amalek from generation to generation, the same nation that has a perpetual hatred for the children of Israel. Because what we're reading here is a proverbial Game of Thrones, if you will. Okay, Esau, Edom, and the Israelites. All right, they want to keep the throne. They want to try to retain and gain back their blessing. But it was not determined to end that way. It was determined that the Israelites would reign in righteousness. And we are entering into those times now in the fulfillment of those prophecies, where the Israelites are going to be raised up to rule. Let's get 1 Samuel 15, beginning at verse 2. The headline reads, Samuel sends Saul to destroy Amalek. Okay. 1 Samuel 15 and 2, it says, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Shemashai of hosts, I remember that which Amalek did to Israel, how he laid wait for him in the way when he came up from Egypt. Okay, as we briefly went over in Exodus, precept in Deuteronomy, right? Verse 3. Now go and smite Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have, and spare them not, but slay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass. Okay, the Lord gave specific instructions to King Saul. Okay, and here the prophet Samuel is basically commanding King Saul to execute that divine judgment on Amalek. Okay, the Lord Yahweh Shemashai did not forget what Amalek did, as we just read. Okay, so judgment may be delayed when it comes to the nation of Esau Edom, but it is not canceled. The word of the Lord will stand, and the will of the Lord will be done. And Saul's failure to completely destroy Amalek is used to this day to explain why the enemy continues later on throughout the prophecies. Okay? It's because of that. Okay? That's how we know that Esau Edom was not done away with, because of Saul's disobedience. Okay? Saul's disobedience is one of the things that prolonged the conflict. Now, of course, Esau Edom had to remain for prophecy's sake, but as the scriptures say, the things written aforetime are written for our learning. Okay, let's stay in 1 Samuel 15 and jump to verse 9. It says, But Saul and the people spared Agag, who was the king of the Edomites, and the best of the sheep, and of the oxen, and of the fatlings, and the lambs, and all that was good. But did we not just read Samuel gave specific orders to destroy those things? Okay. Saul was being disobedient. It says, and would not utterly destroy them, but everything that was vile and refuse that they destroyed utterly. Okay, but that wasn't going to the Lord's plan. Saul spared King Agag in the best of his livestock when he was supposed to do the opposite. Okay, but let's read an end time judgment. Let's read an end time judgment showing you that this nation was never destined, okay, for salvation. Okay, they may have been spared by King Saul, but they are not going to be spared by Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Okay, and this is an end time judgment. This is the book of Obadiah 1 and 18. It says, in the house of Joseph, or the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame. This is going into the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom. And Joseph is represented by Ephraim. Or Ephraim is represented by Joseph, I should say. And the house of Esau, which is the so-called white man, for stubble. And they shall kindle in them and devour them. And there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord Yahweh Shemashai has spoken it. So although the Lord has a perpetual hatred from generation to generation with the nation of Esau Edom, who has no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears, right? There is going to come a time where the Lord is going to completely do away with the nation of Edom. The same thing that he is trying to do to the nation of Israel through his eugenics and through let's count the ways. His Monsanto, his GMOs, his different fabrics in the clothes, his chemtrails, so on and so forth, emissions from the cars. Okay? Everything in this society is built to tune down our vibration and to keep us unhealthy, and ultimately to get rid of the Israelites. Yet we are still here. And Tawadi Yahweh Shimei Shai for that. Okay? But Amalek, they are the chief tribe of Esau Edom. So Esau's final judgment includes Amalek as well. Okay? And this is what we're reading. And Israel is going to play a part of that. So when you ask yourself, how is this connected to modern geopolitics? Okay, you just look at who's in rulership now and who holds sway over the world. As it stands, the US dollar is still the global currency. This FRN that is steadily losing power as we speak. And it's going to come a time when this economy is going to crash because of the failure of said dollar. Okay, and Yahweh Shem Shai is orchestrating it perfectly. Okay, you can listen to different brothers that do the World War algorithms to get a better understanding of that. But we know, pursuing the prophecy, that this digital system is eventually going to be instituted, and the MOTB is eventually going to be presented to the people as a solution. Okay, but I want to reiterate that the people that are currently in the modern state of Israel are not the biblical Israelites. Okay, and this war that is taking place should solidify that, especially to all you Christians and apologetic that think those are the actual people of the Lord. Okay, we read out of the same book, but we obviously don't understand the same prophecies and the same doctrine, though it be told you. Okay, let's get where are we at? Ezekiel 36 and 5. It says, "Therefore saith the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai power, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all Idumea." Idumea is the Greek way of saying Esau Edom, "which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their heart and despiteful minds, to cast it out for prey." Okay, and this took place in 1948 with the Balfour Declaration, when Israel was made a state and those heathens got into the land. Okay, Ezekiel 36 and 5 explains that perfectly. Do not the scriptures also say that a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod, which is modern day Tel Aviv, which is currently obliterated, Pink City, right? So the Lord is making it clear that he is not with those people that are in the land now, because they are heathen. Specifically, they are Edomites. Okay? Because if they were the people, then prophetically speaking, okay, their enemies would not be able to prevail against them. Okay? Let's get Deuteronomy 28 and 7, and we'll close it out with that. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 7. And it reads, "The Lord Yahweh Shem Shai shall cause thine enemies that rise up against thee to be smitten before thy face. They shall come out against thee one way and flee before thee 7 ways." And this is going into the blessings and the curses that will befall the Israelites. And what's so beautiful about ending in Deuteronomy 28 is when you read from verses 15 to 68, it goes into the curses. And every one of those curses, okay, can be applied to the nations that are on that 12 tribe sign that we go out into the highways and hedges with week in and week out. Okay? Proving who we are as a people. Because as the scriptures say, those curses would be on the Lord's people as a sign and a wonder. So it should be no secret who the Lord's true children are, because they're standing up, and great fear is falling upon our enemies that see us. These elites, these bankers, they know who we really are, and they're about to come down with great wrath because they know that they have but a short time, and this war with Iran is proof of that. So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying to the hopeful elect. I want to give all glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Makakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And peace and salutations to the hopeful elect who are continuing to fight and teach this thing of ours in truth and sincerity. This has been your brother Manatazak, and until the next lesson, Shalom.